Hey, aunties, it's Zach from Annapolis, Maryland. What's brewing today?
Who's your TendeRona?
Ask your aunties. He gave me a fake name and I didn't get off.
And WTF Tiger King. So get your cups ready for MinoriTea Report.
Hey,
Hey, aunties.
Hey, ladies.
How y'all doing?
All right.
Still holed up in the crib.
Look, post up.
Post up. I know, it was funny. Like, I was listening to last week's episode, and I was like, we always say, hey, good morning. But I was like, I don't even know if the community is listening to it in the morning anymore. I don't know when they're listening to the episode now. You know,
right.
Their whole routine is thrown off because a lot of people would listen to it on their commute to work. So it's just like, I don't know when they're listening to it. Hopefully you guys are still listening, though.
Yeah, they listen because, they post, they do a good job of posting like, oh, okay, I'm listening to my auntie. So, thanks and shout out to all y'all out there who be posting us and tagging us in your posts. We appreciate it.
Oh, that's funny. I just got a text and they're saying Governor Cuomo is a freak because he got his nipples pierced.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Go ahead, Governor
That
Cuomo.
is so interesting.
But his brother from CNN could get it. Woo.
Facts. 100%.
Woo, Jesus. Have you seen his body, Adi?
Yes.
Girl. Come on, Chris
she
Cuomo.
She can have all of it.
All
she gotta take it.
But she got that coronavirus too now.
Yeah. There was that video that really just turned me on, and it was a video of him just like dropping the F-bomb on somebody, like going hard.
I remember that.
It was like maybe like 4 months ago, 3 or 4 months ago or something like that. Maybe sometime late part of last year. And when I watched that video, I was just like,
Oh, you got hot and bothered?
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, like for me, I'm more attracted to like personality and affect versus, just physicality. Like obviously, there are certain people that are, certain people, there's like certain things that I find attractive, certain physical attributes that I find attractive. But honestly, like if you've got swag, if you've got a great attitude, if you've got like, if you're super smart, like it, for some reason turns me on and turns me out.
Oh, ooh, okay,
turns it out. She then turns it out, girl.
Just saying.
Not mad at that. So it's funny too. Like it's kind of been going around. I know Jarrell asked us this before we hopped on, and maybe you asked the question, like who are?
Oh yeah, like who would you be quarantining with right now?
Yeah, besides our significant other.
Besides your significant others, yeah. Who would be like your dream quarantine buddy right now?
Oh man. See, it could go so many ways. Like, it's like, do you get someone that's like nasty, or first thing that pops in my head is like Beyonce.
Right.
I feel like a lot of it depends on what you can do with that person.
Right.
Because, like if it's a no holds barred and, all husbands allowed, that'll change up who we might be buddy with. But if it's just like you have to maintain like reality and the fact that they married with somebody or they're not attracted to you and vice versa or whatever, that's a whole other different person you might be bringing to the quarantine. Like, I feel like whenever somebody asks that question, like, oh, if you could have dinner with anybody dead or alive, like, I feel like for me, that's like this question. Like, if you take sex out of it and it's just like to be your quote unquote buddy and nothing else, I'd have to go with Whoopi. Whoopi's my all-time go-to.
Yeah.
Like, I love her. I think she's hilarious, super funny, super chill. I would just love to have, like, I could be shacked up in like, our little apartment or whatever for the next 4 months with Whoopi Goldberg. That would be my person.
That's a good answer.
That's a really good answer. I don't know. Honestly, I can't think of anyone like particular. I think mine would be Serena Williams.
Ooh,
And
that's a good answer too.
And I know she's just quirky and she's fun and she just likes to do like random crazy fun things and stuff like that. Yeah, so I think mine would be Serena because I think it would just always be entertaining the whole time. But I mean, like Whoopi's a great answer. I think like Whoopi's like the number one answer. But since you already stole it, Dewan, you know, right?
Survey says.
But you know who's my number two though? My number two would be Leslie Jones.
That would be a fun house.
I'm telling you, all we would do is sit there because if you follow her on Twitter and she does her live tweets,
a riot.
She is like I feel like when I'm listening to her like live tweeting or watching her live tweets or whatever, you know, for like the award shows, for RuPaul's Drag Race, for all of that stuff, I feel like I'm right there in the room with her. And like, I feel like that's how like the community feels about us when they're listening to our podcast. And so in my mind, I would want, and that's one of the reasons why I picked Whoopi, because I'm like, if I'm going to be cooped up in a house with somebody, like I want it to be somebody that I can get crazy silly with and it not be a thing, that I can be, you know, I can have super serious conversations with and it not be a thing. Like they can run the spectrum.
Right. You know, the more I give it thought now, obviously Beyonce would be amazing, but I'm sure that would be kind of awkward for her. And she'd be like, where's my man? Where's Jigga at? You know, where's Blue Ivy and them babies? But it would probably have to be someone like almost like a Pharrell or a Timbaland or something like that, because I would want to get in their mind space of how they create, because their music to this day is just so drastically different than everybody else's. I would want to see that process firsthand, and that's what you do in Ableton. That's what you do in Logic Pro or whatever. So it would probably be someone like that, honestly.
I think my second would be Issa Rae.
Ooh,
I think Issa Rae would be a lot of fun too. Because for me, like I love funny, but I also need balance. You know, I think that's why like I can't really do a comedian because I can't be like on 10 all the time. Like I'm an extrovert, but I'm like a 60% extrovert and a 40% introvert. So I'm gonna need someone that needs to know how to turn it down. Or at least smoke some weed and be like, I'm high, so I ain't got nothing to say. And then I just, you know, and I just be laughing. I'll be all right. So
that's too funny. You two would be in the bathroom doing cooking up raps in the mirror.
Okay, so we did the balance thing, but like if it was like nasty time, like, and I think we probably talked about this in previous episodes of like who our celebrity crushes are and hall passes. So it'll probably be those same answers. But is there anyone new right now that they'd be like, ooh, if I could just get locked up in that crib with them?
It ain't new, but Henry Cavill, lock me the fuck up. Woo, bitch.
Honey, he is good looking. He is good
hot damn.
looking.
Hot damn.
Hot damn, hot damn, hot damn.
Look, girl. Break my whole into pieces. This is my last resort. Suffocation, no breathing, don't know.
Yes, Lord. That's a good
answer. The theme song of the quarantine right there.
Like that's a good answer. Like Family Feud. So good answer.
So somebody that you can get like nasty with, and they'll be all into it.
All into it. I mean, Jason Momoa is still up there for me.
That's my number two. That's my number two.
Henry Cavill's up there. Woo.
Michael B. Jordan's up there for it too. Because he seemed like Michael B. Jordan, he seemed like he will fuck your brains out and then make you this bomb ass sandwich and be like, baby, fuel up around two. You know he do. He be like, what them guns do, baby? And then be like,
Oh, you know who's another one that's go ahead.
I would say Leon for me.
Oh wow, that's a throwback name.
Yeah, and a lot of you guys, a lot of the community might not know who he is, but
Five Heartbeats.
I'm just saying
Heartbeats. I said Heartbreaks. Heartbeats.
5 Heartbeats. He was the black guy that was in the Madonna video. What was it?
Prayer, living on a prayer, or not living on a prayer.
I know, right? I can't think of this like prayer, something about a prayer. When he
like
called my name, that song. Yeah.
Yep.
But
shut up, Smithy. I hear you talking already, girl. Shut up.
But he just has like this swagger about him, and like, I mean, he's obviously not like the big bulky kind of like buffy kind of guys, but he just has like, he turns me on. His personality turns me on. He's very sexy. Cynthia Bailey.
He was married to Cynthia Bailey. I never knew that until like Atlanta Housewives all these years. I was like, oh, damn. Okay.
And they have a daughter together. And they have a really great relationship between like the two of them, at least what you see on TV. Right. They're very amicable.
And the daughter's sexually fluid. And she has a girlfriend right now. I just saw that the other day.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, now go ahead,
like,
girl.
When I think about a question like this, I think about like what the sex is going to be like. And like, for me, I like passionate sex. Like, like sloppy, sweaty, like just like faces mashed into each other. You're getting beard burn all over each other. Like that kind of stuff. Like I'm not in the hit it and quit it. I'm not with like a lot of that. So you have to, like, for me, I have to have like passion behind it. And so I'm like, I know that there are those guys out there that are like, everybody drools after whatever, but I was just like the Idris Elbas and whatnot. And I just feel like they would be really boring in bed. Like they would just be like, let's have sex and then be over with it. And I feel like somebody like Leon would be like
crying in the corner.
Baby, you get that leg shaking and shivering. Or like,
look, he'll have you smoking a cigarette afterwards, sitting there like,
baby, let me go to the kitchen and cook you a dinner.
Right.
Like, you hungry, baby? You didn't put in a full day.
A lot of work.
You put in a full day today. Let me make you a meal.
We done wore the sheets out. We done wore the beds out. We done wore the mattresses out. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about.
That Kumal guy that's going to be in the Eternals, that Indian actor.
Oh, yeah.
Pakistani actor, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
He's cute. I always thought he was cute before he got all ripped and everything. But he's an attractive and he's funny. So he's on my list too. Lord Jesus, we could talk about that all day. Is there something that, like, even now that you have to have in the crib during quarantine? Like, obviously everyone's stocking up for groceries and toilet paper and all this stuff. Is there certain things that, like, if they said today the entire United States is on a 2-week quarantine, the grocery stores are shutting down, the liquor stores are shutting down, what do you need in your crib to survive these 2 weeks?
Outside of the essentials?
Right, yeah, maybe outside of the essentials, yeah. Obviously, you need, like, water and things like that.
Toilet paper and all that stuff,
Yeah.
I need some damn chicken. Like...
Shut up.
I'm y'all laughing. I'm dead serious, y'all. I am so dead serious.
That's why I'm laughing.
I need to make sure that I have my protein, so I need to have my chicken.
Because she don't eat vegetables.
That is true.
So
I eat a handful of vegetables. Okay, a handful. All right.
It's a very restricted list.
It's
like potatoes.
Breast?
It's like potatoes.
Or are you talking like fried chicken, like chicken wings?
Well, I want the chicken wings and the chicken breast. So then that way I can fry it, I can grill it, I can bake it. I can do it what I want with it, So I have my different versions of chicken,
Okay, Forrest Gump. Grilled chicken, fried chicken
smothered chicken, baked chicken,
upside down pineapple chicken.
Right.
Look, no, I think honestly that's the number one thing. I don't have a sweet tooth, so there aren't any snacks out there that I would want.
Okay.
If it was the number 2 on the list, then it would have to be like vodka. Like I would need an adult beverage to get me through those 14. But no, I honestly just chicken. I don't really care about anything else.
Yeah. What about you, Duan?
I would say cuties.
Because people are still coming for you for going outside the crib all the damn
time. and they can keep on coming until you live in New York City and you don't have the options that, being able to get in your own car and drive to a place or whatever.
Yeah.
You keep on coming because I'm keep on walking. I went to the supermarket today, goddammit. But no, like the situation here in New York is just a little bit different because like they stopped doing deliveries.
Absolutely.
So if you don't, and I'm eating vegan right now, so it's not like I can have like a whole bunch of stuff like in the cabinet. Like I have to have fruits and vegetables. Like that's
so. What's your go-to vegan meal right now?
Well, to answer the question, I would have to have cuties. So the little tangerines that you can peel in one.
Yeah.
I eat about 7 of those a day.
Okay.
I eat about 7 of if it's not that, then I'll be having my other favorite snack, which is Honeycrisp apples and peanut butter.
Oof, love that.
So
love it.
Literally every single day. So I have like about 5 to 7 of those cuties every day. And then I'll have a half of an apple and, slather it up with some peanut butter. And that's my other little snack. But everything else can go in the trash. I don't really need it.
Mine is probably, if there's a staple that I would have to have, like if it just came down to we're struggling, we ain't leaving the house, it'd probably be like a peanut butter jelly. Like that I will never grow tired of.
It's like peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly time, peanut butter jelly with a baseball bat. There you go. Let me stop.
Yeah, like PB&J, like even on nights where Corey's like, oh, I don't feel like cooking, or I don't feel like cooking, and it's every man for himself, I'm like, you know what? I could always do a PB&J and be quite content with life.
Yeah. I had a PB&J today.
It's delicious.
I can't do PB&Js.
No?
I don't know. I don't like, again, I don't have a sweet tooth, and the jelly is just too sweet for me.
Yeah.
See,
I fuck with some peanut butter though, like crunchy peanut butter and some celery, or just crunchy peanut butter in general. I can eat.
So you're a crunchy peanut butter
I
guy.
love me some crunchy peanut butter. I can eat it off the spoon, just like literally just out of the jar. I love me some peanut butter.
Like I don't mind crunchy peanut butter, but I'm a creamy peanut butter guy.
Yeah, me too. I'm definitely a creamy, and I get that big jar of Jif, like the biggest one they offer. I get that, and I go through about one of those every 2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, y'all know me. She don't say much, but she likes a rough.
Ooh.
So Corel, like, okay, so what kind of jelly do you like on your peanut butter and jelly?
Purple.
Oh, great.
Purple jelly. Yeah, grape. I mean, actually, I really enjoy pear jam preserves. It's hard to find pear preserves in a lot of places. Just because, like, growing up, my mom and, like, a family friend, every summer, they would can pear preserves. And we would just have a bunch in the fridge for the rest of the year. And so ever since then, I actually really prefer pear, but it's not anywhere.
You prefer pear with your jelly with peanut butter?
Yeah, if I can find it, but it's just so hard to find.
I've never tried that before.
It's delicious, but I prefer grape over strawberry.
You know what's wild?
Strawberry is a shit. If I do it, strawberry has to be mine.
I have to do strawberry. I absolutely love grapes, but I only like grapes that are like right before they're ripe. I don't like them when they're soft. I like them when they're hard. So when you bite them, there's a crunch there.
Get a little crunch. Yeah.
But I don't like grape flavored anything. I don't like grape flavored jelly. I don't like grape flavored soda. Like grape flavored popsicles. Really? Like I don't like any of that stuff. It's just it's too sweet for me. Like I have a little bit of a sweet tooth, but there are certain things that are too sweet that I just won't eat it. I can't. Like I'll have like a bite and like that's enough. I can't.
Yeah, no, I have a sweet tooth. And I'll have it to the day I die. So like I would probably have to also have some kind of candy around. But if it came down to it, I could survive off PB&J.
So what would be like your quarantine candy of choice?
Peanut M&Ms. I'm so old.
Those are good. Right now we have
because you get the peanut and the chocolate. It's a 2-for-1.
We actually have some peanut M&Ms downstairs. We have some for the Easter. Like we picked up some of those. Right now we bought a bunch of stuff just because we wasn't sure if everything was going to shut down. So we have some Starburst jelly beans down there.
Oh, those are good for Easter.
We have some Reese's peanut butter, the mini cups. And Corey loves like Hershey, just like a good old Hershey's bar. So he picked up some of those for himself. Yeah, he could eat a Hershey's bar all the time.
That stuff tastes like plastic. It's not the same. It's not the same. It is not the same like formula that at least when I was growing up, maybe it very well could be that.
I remember you saying that during the Halloween episode. Actually,
it's just not the same. Like you bite into it, and it's just like first of all, it's like It's really, really hard. It doesn't melt. Like, I remember when you would take a Hershey bar out and you would hold it in your hand for like 2 seconds and your hand would have like imprints because it would be melting.
It still melts. Because I just had one the other day and I was like, ooh, my hand's all chocolatey. Nom, 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 nom. But, but yeah, some kind of candy. Oh, and I have Mambas right now too because Corey bought me a bunch of Mambas for my birthday.
Oh, Mambas. Those are fun.
He knows I love Mambas. So yeah, but yeah. Anyway, quarantine lifestyle community.
Yeah,
like we were saying, it's like the Jussie episodes where we kept on talking about Jussie. Right now, it's just quarantine life because there ain't shit else going on.
You know, I had the realization today. So I don't know about you guys, but like my work team and even Adam's work team, you know, we've been doing a lot of happy hours. So I had one today, and I had another one yesterday. With some friends, and then he had one today, and then we're doing another one on Friday. And I was saying today that I'm not going into this is actually now week 5 when this airs. It'll be week 5 for me, at least for those of us in New York. And it's starting to blur. Like the days are actually like before it was like, okay, well, you know, we'll see how this goes or whatever. But now like I'm kind of into a routine. I know what the day's going to be expecting. I know I'm not going to have any meetings on my calendar before 9:00, which means what? I could sleep
my ass in. I know that's right.
Which I don't anyways. I end up getting up at 6:00 in the fucking morning every damn day. But just the knowledge of that, I don't have to set my alarm or whatever. Like that's just so nice. But like we were saying today, it was like, damn. The days are starting to blur together. Like, how the heck is it already this day in the week? Like, already.
Yeah, and that gets and it's the scary. Same here too, because it literally went Seattle, New York, boom, boom, like that. And you're right. I mean, this is week 5 when this airs for us as well. And I can't tell you, like, I'm finally getting at that point where I'm like, I don't care what the actual date is anymore. Like.
Right.
For instance, like we're recording on a Wednesday. I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, wait, it's Wednesday? Like, it's almost a weekend. Like
crazy.
Time is just going so much more faster now because I just have zero desire to care about the day. I'm like, well, I know where I'm going to be at every day. So why does it matter? I got nowhere to be. I don't got, look.
And that's really interesting for you, Jarrell, because you work from home on a normal basis.
Right. But I have a second job coaching to make sure I get out of the house. And so now, like, for me, like, I'm really in. It was funny because I used to think I thought I would have an advantage working from home all the time. But when you take away my second job, the options to get out of the damn house, I'm like, the fuck? Like, this shit ain't for me. But I will say though, it's been interesting. So hold on, let me show y'all. Okay, community, y'all better not record. Oh shit, this shit's recording.
You know this is gonna be the teaser.
I know it's recording. God damn it, and I got taken off. Fuck.
This is about to be the teaser of the weekend.
Y'all ain't shit.
Look, we all read it in.
So Fizznik cut my hair. So he cut my hair, and he tried to give me Fizznik. He gave me
did he?
Yeah.
Okay, he did a little favor.
You know,
Corey's been begging to cut my hair, and my girl, no.
Look, it ain't horrible, you know, but it ain't great. But you know, he did okay for his first time having the fade, and I'm like, I ain't gonna see anybody anyway.
No gashes, gashes.
Right, there was no. And I gave him a fade too, so
girl,
you know, we both look good.
I haven't done anything. I'm looking crazy, but oh well, it is what it is. Because like I'm trying to think. I've been in the house, like you guys were saying, week 5. Like, it's funny to look back because, like, my birthday's March 7th. So, went out that Saturday.
One time for the birthday, bitch. Hey, one time for the birthday, bitch. Hey, one time for the birthday.
Hey, we're going to finish your birthday, bitch. Hey. And so, went out that Saturday. My roommate from college was in town the 8th. I went into the office the 9th, and that's the last day I've been in the office.
Yeah.
Like, and who would have thunk that weekend? Like, even that weekend, we were like, okay, coronavirus is starting to pick up steam. But literally, like, 2 days later, the world, like, collapsed.
World stopped.
And that's going to be a month, like, literally. So when it's aired, that'll be a month, like, basically, for you.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's just like, woo!
It came out
March
of nowhere.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to think that, like, even though we're recording on this Wednesday, like, tomorrow the world we would have reached 1 million cases in the world and over 50,000 deaths. So that's on April Fools that we're recording that we're seeing instead. I can only imagine when this episode comes out where the numbers will be from there. And it's just crazy. But I think the thing that makes me oh, go ahead, Boo.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, and now they're talking about, like, if we're continuing at this pace, we're looking at, like, a June, July timeframe for us to kind of get back to normal. That's like, what we're planning for. Unless we have,
Virginia is
just
what,
a lockdown.
June 10th already? Mm-hmm. Like, they've shut Virginia down to June 10th already.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like... We just gonna be in the 2020's gone. Like we just gonna chuck 2020
we're in the crib.
Up and just see you in 2021, girl.
But see, that's the thing that makes me. And I know we talked about it last week, but fuck this damn stimulus package is just it's garbage. It's absolutely garbage. This one-time check of $1,200, and if you make more than $75,000, then you don't get a goddamn.
You don't
check.
Get nothing.
Right?
If you get up to 99,000, you don't get nothing.
Nothing.
Which is
it's 75,000. If you make more than 75,000,
after 75, it starts scaling down. So it's 1,200 if you make 75,000 and less. Then up to 99,000. You get some kind of dollar or whatever.
That's not what I heard. I heard it was anything. I heard it was anything more than 75,000. Then you were not getting checked. That's what I read online.
The only reason I know this is because I just did my taxes with my accountant yesterday. So
but I mean, I was just also reading the articles too, though. So we'll have to and double check because this is a new thing. So
we can look it up now.
Yeah, we can.
But the killer part about it is even at the highest amount that you would be able to get. Let's say that's what $1,000, $1,500. What is that going to do?
$1,200.
Right.
If we're going to be out, if we're going to be basically like, and a lot of people aren't working. They don't we're fortunate enough that we can work from home and that we're allowed to continue working, but there are some people that are just gone, so they're either on furlough or they've been terminated. There have been restaurants that have been shut down completely and fired all their staff or whatever. And like, what is $1,000 going to do when your living expenses are at a minimum $3,000?
Right.
Yeah.
What is that going to do? And that's 1 month. We're not even talking about every single month.
And we don't want it to sound like we're making so much money that $1,200. $1,200 is going to help some people. Especially like my brother, he's about to have a second child, so he's like, let me get this $1,200. So it's individuals are due up to $1,200, and couples will receive $2,400 plus $500 per child. Sorry, a pop-up just came up. But then that's payments start phasing out for individuals with adjusted gross incomes of more than $75,000. The amount that will be reduced by $5 for every additional $100 of adjusted income, and those making more than $99,000 will not receive anything.
Yep, it's a
so
wrap.
$99,000 is the cutoff.
Yeah. And I think that, and I don't want to, I want to make sure that the point is clear. It's like, it's not that it doesn't help, but if we are talking about being out from now until June, what the hell is $1,000 going to do,
exactly.
or $1,500 or $2,000 going to do?
Because you're going to be in the same position
next month. In a month. That's the thing. Absolutely, that's the thing. It's like and every little bit helps. Don't get me wrong. And obviously, they're fast tracking people through unemployment so that they'll be able to get those unemployment checks and benefits coming in. So that's a good thing. But at the end of the day, it's not like this thing is going to be over in like 3 to 4 weeks. This is going to be a couple of months.
It's going to be the rest of the year, honestly, because even say you get back to work, they're laying off people, and it doesn't mean your job's going to be guaranteed to be there when all this kind of shakes out, because the economy is going to be different than it was a month ago. Like the economy a month ago was in a great shape. So, I mean, this has changed the course of humanity. Honestly,
but the thing is to remind people though, like, even if for those who are on like payment plans, or they've been like, okay, we're going to stop your payments or we're going to stop billing you, be prepared to back pay all that shit.
Yes.
Because one thing that we know in America, ain't shit free. Everything comes with a goddamn cost. So if you got money to pay stuff, still put that money to start paying for stuff. What you don't want to do is opt to just wait, because as soon as that shit's over, they're going to lift all them bans and they're going to be like, so here's your actual bill and here's the bill for the last 4 months. Now you need to figure this out, and that's on you. We helped you in that moment. And it's like, you're not really helping people if you're doing that. That's not helping people.
If you're struggling, because we had to do it today because our life has kind of changed today. I don't even want to put everyone's business out there, but if you call, like Jarrell said, even if there's a pause in your payments, you need to also work out with either your mortgage company, your auto loans, whatever it may be, when you have to pay it back, if it's going to be a lump sum after those 3 months are over, or can you just add additional dollars to your monthly payments after that? But like Jarrell said, they're going to get their money at the end of the day. It's not a forgiveness. This money ain't going to just disappear. These payments ain't going to disappear. But make sure you at least do the due diligence to ask, hey, I'm struggling right now. I got laid off. What are my options? Okay, that's my option is you're going to give me a 3-month reprieve. Okay, after this 3-month reprieve is up, what is that payment going to be? Is it all in a lump sum that first day, that day 91? Or can I, if my apartment bill was $1,000 a month, do I have to give you $3,000 up front? Or can I separate these payments up on top of my additional $1,000 on top of that? So do the due diligence, because like Jarrell said, they don't want their money back.
They sure the hell is. And I think that's one thing that just makes me so upset about this. Like, because they were saying that, like, if you do the math for the $2 trillion, payout, whatever, if you divided that by the 300 million people in the country, like, you would have a $6,000 paycheck per person. And it's like, and I'm getting $1,000.
Well, some of it's going to small businesses. Some of it's going to unemployment insurance, and things like that.
And I totally get that. But that's what the argument about, like, it shouldn't be towards the business makes that much more sense to me. Because especially if those businesses are closed and ain't nobody working, it's just like, but I know they got their own bills they need to pay, et cetera, like that. But if they're not paying their workers during that, then that money should be going to said workers that aren't being paid at that business.
Yeah, and I don't even know what the ideal situation would be. I don't think there is a clean.
This is unprecedented, and exactly. I know that word it's been used a lot, but it really is, because the reality of it is there is no end in sight. Like, as quickly as they're trying to get respirators and all these other kind of precautions out there, people are still outside interacting with one another.
Girl.
And, and I'm not talking about like the onesie twosies, like your girl over here who's going to the supermarket. I'm talking about when you look out and you see people playing basketball, people in Chicago that have been congregating at the beaches, in Florida that have been going at the beaches, like people that are like that mega church, that guy that just got arrested, that I forget what his name was or whatever, but like, he's like, like calling people in to go worship and whatnot. And they have...
Girl, Piedmont Park look like it's having like Coachella every fucking day here.
Girl, let me tell you, they handing out tickets. They handing out tickets left and right out here in Seattle. They ain't playing with these people. They're like, oh, y'all want to do this? Boop, ticket.
Got your stimulus check, bitch.
Look, actually, I thought I was going to actually go to jail on, what was it, Sunday? Yeah, I think I was going to go to jail on Sunday. So what happened was the governor was like, go outside, get your 30 minutes of air, but of sunlight and all the rest of the fresh air. But make sure you are not, if it's only with the people in your own household. So don't go meet up with other people. 1, just people in your household. 2, make sure that you practice social distance and being 6 feet apart from each other. So we live 1 block away from this park. It's a cool little turf park, whatever. There are families and there are other people there at the park too. There's no more than probably like 15 of us and this very fine ass man doing his workout with these leggings on. Bitch was squatting and had his feet up in the air with shoulder on the ground, doing stretches and shit like that.
You didn't get a creeper picture?
I was too far. He was fine. But everyone's practiced social distancing. And then it happened to be this older man fucking hitting balls, like baseballs, into the fucking field while there are like literally families, like parents teaching their kids how to ride a bike, toss a football. The homeboy almost hit us twice. I literally snapped and I was like, I don't give a fuck if you got that baseball bat in your hand, bitch. I'm gonna win. I'm gonna win. Hit me if you want. I am literally across the field clapping my hands, be like, what the fuck? I wish you would bring that shit on over here.
Oh,
and then
my
he had the
God.
nerve. Then he walks by and was like, "I'll put the baseball bat down if you want to throw the football." Nah, nigga, don't say shit to me. I was so heated. Physic was like, you know what? I think our 30 minutes is up. I
His
was like,
girlfriend
you know
probably
what?
go
It's
back
up.
home.
It's
His
up.
girlfriend,
You know,
look, his girlfriend probably banged up his what is it? What is it? The video game?
PlayStation 4.
Yeah,
his
the PS4. She probably banged it up, so we had to go outside and try to make some friends.
I know. I'm thinking
I
about
was
getting a
livid.
Nintendo Switch myself.
Really?
I think so. I haven't played games in years.
Yeah.
I just got
But
Fiznik
I'm
into video
tempted.
games. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he bought me a PS4 for my birthday. And so I went and downloaded like all the old Sega games. So we got like Sonic 2, Sonic
Oh, that's
Pinball.
cute. Yeah.
We got Street Rage, Columns. We got Earthworm Jim and shit like that. Bitch,
Contra?
like,
Do you have Contra?
Yep, Contra's on there. Like
That was my shit right
It's
there.
a dope ass like
Yeah.
Sega game. So literally we spend about like 30, 45 minutes a day just playing old Genesis games on there.
I think we're just gonna get the subscription to the Apple games. You know, through the Apple TV instead of buying a whole new system or whatever. I think we may just do that.
We got an old ass Apple TV, so we don't get that on there.
But it's funny, like, and I guess before we kind of move on, we've been talking about quarantine life, and it happens all the time. Sorry,
Right.
community, if you're tired, because you're hearing it everywhere. But hey, it is what it is. Do you think essential workers should get hazard pay? I know this has kind of been like a big thing lately with like the Amazon strike and the Instacart strike and all this stuff. But you still got like people like the trucking industry. Like, let the trucking industry get sick. We ain't getting shit in these grocery stores. And so it's just like, as this progresses and prolongs, should the folks literally still working to keep this country moving and shaking and getting goods to where they need to be and helping the sick, should they be getting more pay?
Yeah,
Honestly, yes. We should be
agree.
taking care of them.
Yeah.
You know,
think
and
so,
it's a
too.
shame that we don't.
And there's a lot of I actually had this conversation today with my work, and you know, we like our stores are still open and all that stuff, and we've been having this conversation, and I did a little bit of research to find out, well, what are other companies doing? And a lot of other companies are doing what they're calling appreciation pay, quote unquote, you know, like appreciation bonuses or whatever, where they're either like matching, you know, the stimulus bonus that they're supposed, or the stimulus check that they're supposed to be getting, or just giving them a flat, you know, fee or whatever. You know, and I just honestly think it's the right thing to do. Like if you are allowed to be open, you know, which at this point is a privilege and it is a service that you are providing to, you know, to people, then you should be compensated. I also think that, you know, when Congress goes back to look at what happens next month after this quote unquote stimulus check, they need to be, if companies are doing the right thing by helping to support their teams, they should be price matching that, because at the end of the day, it's these, you know, like these companies that are helping to keep the world and, you know, our economy continuing to move in the fashion that it's continuing to move. So yeah, I'm all for it. I think so. I think the biggest problem of it is that, okay, if you do it this
blowing up
month
over there. Is that your phone buzzing?
That's Dewan.
Oh,
Dewan's phone buzzing up a storm over there.
No, but I mean,
The
I
Amazon
completely
workers are
agree.
like, yes, ma'am, Dewan.
Yes, they hear her. Preach, girl. You better tell them what it is.
But honestly,
No.
I think the biggest challenge of it is that if there is no end in sight, then what, you know, like if you do an appreciation bonus, you know, or give you some cash this month, are you setting
What
up
you
an
doing next
expectation for next month and the following month? And then at a certain point, it becomes a point of diminishing returns where the business says that I can no longer afford to do this.
But it's just
Yeah,
like,
I mean-
I completely agree. But it's just like, if the expectation of my ass supposed to be here and risking my health,
Right.
then yes, that is the
Yeah.
expectation, because I'm out here. And I think you see like a lot of memes going around now, how they're saying, you really see now that it is the frontline workers, is the minimum wage people that's really keeping this country afloat. It's
Right.
not the CEOs. It's not the upper management.
It's not.
Because they ass working from home.
Absolutely. Exactly.
You know? So if the expectation is for me to risk my health, I think the expectation on your end is to find a way to compensate me somehow.
And that's why I hate the argument about, well, that's your job. That's what you decided to do as far as a career. And I'm like, that doesn't have to do with this situation. Like,
no, this is
no
unprecedented, like we said.
Exactly. You know, and so I hate when people argue, like, well, they shouldn't have to because, you know, we need them. And it's like, well, yeah, but they also need to live. They also have their own lives. Like, you don't own them, you know? So I think there should be some type of program or something that there should be. And like Duane said, like if it runs out, then there needs to be like a back pay. There needs to be tracked. And if things get back on track, then there needs to be back pay for all of that. But we have to be supporting them, and they need to be supported. I mean, like you see on the news how many freaking nurses and doctors are going a week with the same fucking face mask, you know, and
working like 16-hour days.
16-hour days. Like, it's ridiculous. And I want to say shout out to my brother-in-law, Leica in Kosovo. He has his own company, technology company. He has a bunch of 3D printers, and he is printing the mask, the frame and the plexiglass for the mask for a bunch of the hospitals. So I think by Saturday he's going to have 3D printed over 1,000 masks for some of the hospitals in Kosovo. So you know, I just love hearing stories about people like stepping up and donating. Like Rihanna donated $5 million, you know, to some of the charities that helps for, you know, pay for families and you know, of nurses and doctors that are doing the work.
Right.
And you hear like Christian Siriano, right?
Siriano.
Yeah. Like he's making a bunch of masks out of his, you know, factory or apartment or whatever the case where he does his stuff at. It's just nice to hear about so many people. And Corel, you mentioned that last week about, you know, the different places making hand sanitizer. Like we got to start stepping up like a lot. And kind of picking back off of that, like another thing that's been pissing me off for like all these celebrities that have been going on IG Live talking about we need to help people and we need to donate and we need to like, you know, be there for one another. And it's just like, a lot of the people that are your fans aren't working. Like a lot of people are legit just not working. So you're asking people to give money that they don't have. But here you are sitting in this 7,000 square foot mansion with millions and millions and millions of dollars. I want to see what size check you writing before you fix your damn mouth to tell someone else, tell your fans to donate money. I want to see you cut that damn check. Okay. And I want to see it go in the envelope. I want to see it go to the postman.
You want to see them lick it?
I want to see them lick it. I want to
envelope.
see it right and everything. And I want to see it leave your possession and you walk the opposite direction of said check. Okay. Because it's up to the higher ups. It's up to the 1%ers and it's up to the millionaires and the billionaires to really be bailing out our society right now, making sure that people are living and thriving. It cannot be on the poor. The poor, we don't got to give.
Yeah. And that's a hard thing, even when you see like the Amazon situation. And don't get me wrong, like Jeff Bezos has worked his ass off for his career to get to the position he is. No, you know, ifs, ands, or buts, because it started off as in a garage, literally. So I get that. Self-made, cool. However, you're the richest man on earth now. And your company is Amazon. And to see the workers having to strike because they feel like they're not getting enough pay and the stuff to stay healthy at your company, that's where I kind of almost have the issues. Like, if I was that rich and working these people to the bone, that would have been the first thing I would have made sure is that they were okay because they're helping me stay rich. You know? And so that's the part where it's just like, and I'm sure he's doing stuff, I'm sure, but he probably needs to step up a little more to make sure the optics, at least, or the perception of your company not helping your employees out isn't out there. Yeah. So it's just like, you're worth over $120 billion. Like, you can spend $1 billion and still be all right.
All right.
So it's just like those situations where you kind of see that. It's just like, come on, you can step up a little more and spend another billion to help with masks and things like that or whatever. And obviously, I don't want to tell people how to spend their money is their money. I get it. At the end of the day, it's your money. But at least I think if I was in that position, and maybe that's the struggle. It's like not everybody's thinking the way we're thinking, so it is what it is. But I would like to think if I was in that position worth 120 billion, I think I could part with 20 billion to figure something out to help the globe at this point to make sure people aren't dying. Like my uncle, I haven't even told you guys, my uncle was on a ventilator the last 4 days and because of coronavirus. So this shit is real. And literally got a text today where he's going to be able, like yesterday he got off the ICU or the ventilator. He was in the ICU today doing better. And it looks like he's going to be able to get discharged and heal the rest of the way up at home tomorrow. So thank God.
Yes.
Like been
Won't he
praying like
do
crazy.
it? Won't he do it?
Don't let me shout in here now. No, for real.
Yes.
But it's just like you once it starts hitting your family, it gets even more real where you're just like, you die, you ain't gonna be able to take your billions. Let him get corona and die. And God, I'm not saying that. I don't want to him, so God forbid him to get sick. But it's just like, it's those moments where you can't take it with you. So in these pandemics and unprecedented moments, what can you do to aid that we're all still here, you know? And it's still literally gonna be no coins off your back. You're not gonna miss $1 billion. And that's a crazy thing to say. He's literally not going to miss $1 billion.
That's probably what cost his private jet to go, 200 miles. That's how much the fuel costs. So I mean, he might want to say, I don't know. I don't know what $2 billion look like.
We don't spend the whole half episode.
I do want to say, shout out to all the birthdays going on during right now. If it's your birthday, you are entitled to a fucking half birthday. So you better fucking turn up in October and November, bitch. You better let it be known. Look. Share them birthdays in this fall. Like, real talk. Bring back these half birthdays. I'm here for it.
And these weddings. I have a friend from high school. He just posted today this whole kind of almost rant, and rightfully so, of like all the money he's not getting back because their wedding was coming up. Yeah. And it looks like they're going to have to cancel. Like, they prepaid for like their honeymoon. They prepaid for like the photographer. The photographer and all this stuff. And I'm like, and he's like, I get it. Yeah. Yes. Like, this is unprecedented times. So I don't want to sound like I'm complaining, but I want to complain because my coins are hurting and we were going to get married. Yeah. And
look, at this point, that's when you just grab the damn broom. Grab that damn broom and just jump.
But
like, at that point.
But there's a lot of stuff that's just can't go on right now. You can't even have a funeral.
Yeah, you can't. 10 people. Well, no more than 10 people.
10 people,
And it's like, how'd you do that?
Exactly.
Like, it's going to make me cry. Like the stories about like people on their deathbeds and they can't have anyone around them.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, breaks my heart. Oh my God.
But on a lighter note,
because I'm going to cry.
On a lighter note, let's just give a shout out to our opening intro this week.
Oh man,
Zach.
sorry.
Yeah, thanks, Zach.
Sorry, Zach.
Zach. Thanks for hanging in there with us, Zach. We appreciate that intro, even though Rona then fucked us all up. So we have to talk about her real quick. But we don't want to steal your shine, Zach. Thank you so much, baby, for bringing us in with that raspy voice, and we heard you.
Okay, now.
Come on now.
We just have to find the moments of sunshine in all the doom and gloom. So thank you, Zach, for that.
Definitely.
You were the sunshine in this conversation.
Yes, you were.
You know what? On that note, we might as well get into it. You know what time it is.
Yes.
It is
Ask
Your
Aunties.
Oh man, this is another juicy Ask Your Aunties this week too. So damn, we done talked about damn Rona for 50 minutes. Who has it up? I don't even have
I have it up right here. Okay. So this question comes from Anonymous. Anonymous. I did say this.
She said this one comes from Adonis.
I'm drinking my wine over here, okay? She's in it now. She is over half a bottle in by herself. So
she is Corona and chilling and messed up all her pronunciations.
So the Ask Your Aunties goes from someone that shall not be named. So
there we go.
So it says, so I'm a single guy with a friend with benefits, and whenever we hook up, I always end up giving. But when he finishes, he leaves without reciprocating. I feel he's being selfish. How to bring this up? Also, he says he's out of town often, but I just joined a softball team blindly that he happens to be on, and I now believe he gave me a fake name because everyone called him something different. And when I reintroduced myself, he said that folks call him David, not Jesse. Not trying to date him, just want to get it off. Just want to get off. Is this too sketchy?
Ooh.
Short answer, yes, girl. That's way too sketchy. Like, at the end of the day, why are you even bothered? I mean, I get the question, and now the fact that you're on this team with this person. Well,
right.
I mean, count your lucky stars because you ain't playing with them anymore.
That is true. That Rona messed that up for
right.
you. So.
Oh, God. So that is a non-motherfucking factor, as they say in the housewives lingo.
That's hip hop. That's love and hip hop.
That's right.
Oh no, basketball wives. Yeah, basketball wives.
You know, they all the same. But no, at the end of the day, like, if you're not looking to be in a relationship with this guy, then it really doesn't matter. You were nothing more than a trick. And we all have been there. We all have had that name. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. It's part of the game of being single. And for some people, not so single. So move on.
That's true. That is true. Oh, man. That's tough, though. Because
sorry.
Especially like if it's like a friend with benefit that you was like, okay, this is working. This is working. Like, oh, I guess it wasn't working. It wasn't working, though.
That's the killer part.
You weren't getting off, and he was always getting off. And wasn't reciprocate. Ooh, yeah. You know, find a different trick. There's better tricks out there.
So
the dick ain't that good.
So, fun little fact here.
Uh-oh.
And this also has to do with softball. But when I was playing softball a few years ago, back in Minneapolis, my team basically had all the black folks on it. And so, well, at least the black folks that were in the league, I should say. And so when we would travel for softball, we would always make sure we were in the same hotel room. And our hotel room was called Black Thunder. Okay. Because you had all the black people in there.
Okay.
Well, wherever we traveled, we all had fake names. We gave everybody fake names because we didn't want people in our business.
And that was going to be my question to y'all. Like, have you ever given a fake name?
Yes, we all had fake names. Names. So funny. I will say, sometimes you just don't want people in your business, and so sometimes you give them a different name because people know how to use social media and they know how to use Google, and motherfuckers be nosy, and so they be quick to Google you, find out where you from, what your LinkedIn is, where you work at, who your family is, blah blah blah. No, don't need all that. Sometimes a person just want to fuck, and that's all you is.
And that's it.
And you just got to know your place. So, as far as I'm concerned, this is what that person is saying is they don't want you to know nothing about them. You serve one purpose, and that's to pleasure them. And that's
only them.
And only them. And only them. And
not
if you want something
you.
more, right. So if you want something more, then you keep it pushing, swerve, and go somewhere else. Because if someone giving you their fake name, giving you a fake name, they don't want you. They don't want you involved in their life. Like there's nothing deep about it.
That is at softball that day.
I can only imagine
he knew
the
exactly who
face
that guy was. So he's like,
"Oh
damn,
my God.
I gave him a fake name, and now he on my team."
There's been a couple times when I've gone to tournaments, posted, and people have called me by my fake name, and I just stood there like not answering. I was like, "Oh shit, that's right. I was John 4 months ago." Like,
I don't think I've ever given a fake. I'm trying to think now.
No, maybe
back in the day on like maybe the apps back in the day, maybe
never,
because my name is just so distinct. It's the same with yours. All three of us have like distinct names that like
yes. That's why I always give a basic name. That's why I give a basic name. So then that way they never, they like, oh, his name was like.
That's true.
But okay, have you ever given a fake number? But have you given someone like a fake number though?
Funny thing, literally the night Corey and I met, I almost gave him a fake number.
I've done that.
It went through my mind because he asked for my number, and I remember thinking, I'm not trying to like date or give out my number or nothing like that. So literally, this is going in my head, and then I was like, you know what? I'll give it to him. I'll probably never hear from him again. And here I am, almost 8 years later, married. But I have given away fake number before too, though.
What you doing? Have you given away a fake number?
Nope. I give my number and then I block them.
Oh, see, I have because I didn't always have a phone where you can block people. Okay, so
she had them burner phones.
Girl, she did with the minutes. Okay, she sure did. And one time I did give a fake number, and that motherfucker called me right there in the spot, and I said,
"Whoop."
See.
My bad. And since then, I never did it. Never.
See,
did.
I've
I just
always
learned how to
There's been
swerve
times
around
they
it.
text you right then.
See, that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I've always heard of, people doing that. So like, here's the number. It's the number. And if I don't know you, then, because everybody that I know, I put their first name and their last name in my phone. I don't have no single person names in my phone at all. At all. I got
Grindr. I got like John Scruff and Ben Adam for Adam in my fucking phone. Still Ben.
Yes. Same here. And funny thing, like Corey, like M. Corey's phone for the longest. My name was like Carell Big Chicks because that's where we met, and we had been dating probably like 4 years. And my name was still Carell Big Chicks. And I finally just one day, I was like, Corey, get that name out your phone. Put my damn name here. But yeah, I have not cleaned out my phone numbers since 16. So it's just an accumulation of numbers over time. So I guarantee if I actually went through my contact book now, which I haven't done in forever, there's probably some... I don't even know names now.
Some lingerings.
Like Jason Scruff and John Sidetrack, and
I got those too.
Every once in a while,
are.
I'll like if I meet somebody for the first time or whatever, I'll put their name in my phone. Like we just got new neighbors downstairs, and he had texted me actually today because we're finally going to be able to get together and do a little wine thing and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And I just have his first name, but you better believe when I go down there, what's your last name?
You don't get the last name.
Because every year I go through my phone, and if I don't have your last name in there, it's a wrap. You're out.
Damn. I know Duan's diligent about that. And by the way, thank you for that question. And yes, get a new friend with benefit. There's more friends with benefits out there.
Well,
you don't need to have a sketch situation, so you can actually get.
But
off.
if you, but I mean,
that's
but some people are into
part of it.
But some people are givers, and giving is something that pleases them. I know who this anonymous person is. Okay.
So I'm just putting that out there. And when this person told me the story, he's like, bitch, I want to get off too. He's like, yes, I'd like giving, but he's like, shit, this is supposed to be 50-50. Like, okay, you got off. Okay, maybe at least next time I got off. He's like, and it ain't been.
Oh yeah, no, get a new one. Get a new one. But just also know that ain't gonna be nothing more than that.
You would have 2 times with me. And if I find it's like we're just hooking up, and I find that even in just us hooking up, you're being more selfish and you're getting off and I'm not getting off, then there's no point for there to be a third at all.
So like,
no, time to move.
Because what happens is then you probably just went home, jerked off, and went to bed. You could have done that from the get-go instead of like showering and getting all fresh and everything and Ubering to the plate. Save some coins.
Twice and then
I mean, look, we all know what that at-home self-love has saved us from a few times. Been like, oof, man, I could have went over to that and I saved myself. Come on, give yourself a high five. You just high five yourself. Man, like, we did it, girl. Avoid that drama.
We did it.
We did it.
Because that lead up, you're not thinking right.
You're sure not, girl.
But the second you bust, you come back to reality. You're like, girl, save myself. Man.
And you be like, oh, I don't gotta go all the way over there. My kitchen right there. I could just make myself something to eat right now. Oh, look, we good. Man, shit. Don't play.
Oh, man. So thank you for that question. But I was going to say, Dewan's very diligent about that. Like, Dewan is one that will, like, delete his text messages because it's taking up too much room.
I did it this past weekend. I deleted all that, every single text message, because we have our own little group thread. Yeah. And every once in a while, I'll be like, hey guys, or whatever. And then he'll be like, why is this coming up separate, not in our group? It's because I deleted that.
Who got an Android now?
Right.
No, I deleted it. Just send me a text from the group thread. Nah, I'll get it back. But I go through my phone, I delete all that shit. I went through my computer, delete a whole bunch of stuff. Like,
see.
I'm like super minimalist. I don't need a whole bunch of extra like stuff around at all. Of anything. No, not at all.
I know, like, Dewan's, like, so diligent about his calendar and it's crazy.
But, like, a lot of it has to do with the fact that, like, I'm slightly dyslexic. And so, and when I coupled that, with like transposing things, so like if we're saying, oh, we're going to meet on such and such a date, it's going to be like the 13th. And then in my mind, I read it as 31st or whatever. I have to, I've learned I have to put, I live by my calendar, number one. And if it's not in my calendar, if I'm not putting it in there right then and there, I will not remember, because out of sight, out of mind. 100%.
No, I 100%. I remember stuff like that. I don't know why, but I do too. I can literally tell you everything from when I ate last Friday to what I wore, like the time I woke up. I just, and Physic hates that shit. He be hating that. He be like,
I can't even tell
me. How you gonna tell me? And I was like, because I know. Like, I'm gonna tell you.
I can't even tell you how many meetings I had today. Like, out of sight, out of mind. Once it's gone,
you're on to the next.
Done. It's done.
On to the next. So continue to send Ask Your Aunties, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you for that question.
And DeWine, you got a follow-up to a previous Ask Your Aunties, don't you?
We're waiting. We haven't even heard it, community. Normally we try to get a preview of it, but this time Jarrell and I have not heard this update, so we're excited along with y'all.
Okay, so let me just refresh you guys. So this was episode 57, and this was also anonymous, so I'll maintain anonymity. Do you like that, Jarrell? Anonymity?
Don't try for it.
Look, don't try me today.
Look, she got these ghetto edges today, bitch. Don't do it. Look, she ain't been to the barber.
You almost got into a fight already.
Episode 57 was the Stirring the Honey Pot episode, by the way, if you're looking for the title. Stirring the Honey Pot, Ask Your Aunties, Mind Your Business, and 90s Male R&B Brackets. So.
Look, Jarrell's like, these tickets only $59 round trip, so I'll fly out there and beat your ass. Fly back to Seattle.
Right. Give you these hands and hop right back on that plane.
Okay, so all right, so here's what the question was. Aunties, I need your advice. With prep, a lot of guys are raw dogging it now more than ever. I have a friend that I know has herpes because he breaks out often, in parentheses, and he has sex.
Why she had to be that shady though? Whoever said it, he, she, whomever. She put that shit in parentheses.
Right, because he breaks out often and he has sex without condoms all the time. So I'm struggling being friends with him because of his behavior. So question number one is this a friendship deal breaker? And then question number two is, he is now seeing someone that I know that he hasn't told him about his STD. Should I tell them? So here's the response.
Oh boy. I'm not ready. I need a new glass for this shit. Shit.
Hey sis, I wanted to let you know what happened with so-and-so. After I listened to the auntie's advice, I decided to follow their advice and give him an ultimatum. Either he tell the other so-and-so about his situation or I will. I also told him that if he doesn't do it by the end of the week, then we can't be friends. Of course, he got super defensive and saying, who are you to tell me what I'm doing with my information, saying that I do shady shit all the time, and he doesn't say a word about that. Which he's right, but I told him there's a difference between me being a shady queen and giving somebody a disease. A big difference. We did not leave the combo on good terms, and he even blocked me on social media. But get this, 4 exclamation points. Another mutual friend of mine already told so-and-so about so-and-so's dirty ass and apparently called so-and-so out on it. And then they lied and denied it. But get this, this guy works at the clinic. So they had no reason to lie because they knew his test results. Needless to say, the friendship is over and so-and-so is on the loose. In these streets. I thought I would feel a type of way, but honestly, I feel that a weight has been lifted and wanted to thank the auntie so much for the great advice. You are right. You are right. I don't need friends like that I don't need friends like that because your friends are a reflection of you, and I never realized how destructive and toxic that relationship was. Again, tell them thanks for taking my question. Kisses. So
mouth agape right now. I have a lot of questions. Well, maybe not even questions, statements. So, did we tell them this person to confront the person?
Y'all did. Y'all were the ones.
You did. Okay.
You too. No, you did too. Correct. I was the only one that was like, I was the only one that was like, well, it's not okay to spread other people's business. I was the one that was like, I would have tried to talk to the other friend and get them not to be into that person and be like, look, trust me, you just don't want to go there. I'm not going to say why. You just don't want to go there. But y'all were like,
that's right.
You are your friends. You are the company you keep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. So then B, they looked up his chart at the clinic. Like, ain't there some like laws against that shit?
I mean, literally, I'm not the police.
There's some HIPAA laws out there that were broken. Oh my God, this is insane. And then C, he said a rebuttal saying, your stank ass is just as crazy as I am. This is too much for me. I
just died. Like,
wow.
First of all, I gave you props for having the conversation, a very adult conversation. And
that's very hard.
Regardless of the advice, whether you took it or not, at the end of the day, you had the courage to speak your mind and whatever your truth was for you. And I think that that's great. And in doing so, you saw your really good friends, in air quotes, your really good friends' true colors, because as soon as you called them out, the very first thing they want to do is turn things back on you.
Yep. Yeah.
And that's just not the kind of energy
out for themselves and grow.
Right.
Like, that's the one thing I hate so much is when you call people on their shit and they get so defensive and angry and throw fits.
And they attack you.
Mm-hmm.
And then they attack you like you're the crazy one.
Right.
No, you need to
you
need to hold responsibility for your own self.
Like,
exactly.
Who cares if I'm calling somebody, out their name or whatever? Like, you out there giving people diseases that they can't get rid of. Come on now, there's no comparison.
But then,
I mean, I'm all for it. I'm all for confrontation. I'm all for confrontation. So, I actually want to be friends with this person because I know that I can trust this person to keep it real. Because a few months ago, we had that conversation, not my man, not my business. And I already said, I'm the one to tell somebody, But these heifers over here, y'all aunties, giving me emotions and shit. So now they got me concerned about other motherfuckers' feelings and stuff. And so now I'm over here being like, well, I want to care about their feelings still because we're friends, and I want to be Switzerland and stuff like that. No, that's kudos.
I had to see back this week.
That's how I want to be. That's how I thrive to be. Yes.
I just love the fact that this other third person, had called him out on it, and then he tried to lie and deny it, and then this person said, "I got the receipts."
Girl.
At the clinic.
Yes,
I got the HIPAA receipts.
Right, you can't fake this.
You sure can't.
You can't fake. You can't lie your way out of it. No, it's dirty.
This is a lot. Wow. See, community, this is why we like updates.
For real.
Wow. And she said how she concluded. She's like, and he still let loose in these streets.
Right.
I can't.
Not my friend, not my problem anymore.
For real.
At this
Absolutely.
point.
Wow. Lord,
absolutely.
Help us. That's just as crazy as Tiger King.
Girl, it really is. It honestly really the fuck is.
Oh my God.
Okay,
honestly,
so look.
This is a cautionary tale, though. It really is.
I watched the first 2 episodes and I was like, I can't do this.
It's a lot.
My brain can only handle so much stupid that I'm just like, how the fuck did this get away? First of all, we know the fact that this happened because if the person had been a person of color, shit would have been shut all the way down. So let's just put it out there right now.
You talking about Carol?
No, I'm talking about Tiger King in general. Had them been people of color, the shit would have been shut down. Okay? They would have been shut down. Okay? So, I don't know. It was just too much. And then Carol, I know she says she was rescuing, but they were still in cages and they were dying there. Bitch, what is the difference?
She's doing the exact same thing.
Right. And then you have people paying to come see these animals too. You're doing the same fucking thing. And she really had it made up in her mind that she was saving them. And on top of that, the volunteers, they were not paid. They were fucking volunteers, were choosing to come and still be there.
It's just a whole host of crazy.
I had a conversation with my sister about this because she hasn't finished watching it, but she is, and I would encourage you to finish watching it because it gets bananas,
wilder.
Like every single episode, like at the end, I'm just like, that was fucking insane, and then the next one is like, that is fucking insane. The next one is like, how does this shit keep happening? It keeps getting like, it's bananas, But like, I told my sister, I was like, I actually like. I have a little bit of respect for Carol, even though I think that she's a murderer. I think we all can agree with that. And I'm so glad that the state of Florida has decided to open up that case again.
Reopen the case. Yes. Same here.
So I'm here for that.
She killed that man.
Right, fed to the tigers. But because she was like, remember when he was in it, when Joe Exotic was getting dragged by the one tiger, and she was like, if you're gonna get eaten by a tiger, you're gonna put some possum juice on her leg. You're not gonna put like tiger shit.
Like sardine oil,
right? Yeah, right, or something like that. She's like, oh, you already know.
You like, bitch, how you know that?
Right, exactly. But I was like, I had to give her props because at the end of the day, even though she was doing the same thing, she is a marketing genius because she has these people convinced that she's doing the right thing, that she is an animal activist, even though out of all of the tiger zoos that they showed, hers was the absolute worst one. Worst.
I like how community member other Jarrell is what I call him, because I have this Jarrell and this other Jarrell, and he used to live in Tampa, and he goes, anybody that lived in Tampa knows that you just don't randomly walk down North Nebraska Street. She was hooking for real. He said, nobody walked down Nebraska to clear your mind.
So that's what it was. Because I was wondering about that. Because she
was hooking.
So in one of the episodes, Jarrell, she was explaining how she met her new husband. And apparently she met her new husband, who was also already married to another woman, when she got into an argument because her boyfriend was beating her or whatever. Boyfriend or husband? I can't remember.
I think it was her husband.
It was her husband at the time. And then she quote unquote decided to walk. And then he pulled up to her in his pickup truck. And then she got in his truck and he said, well, I won't get it. He said, I got a gun. If you want to hold your gun, if you want to take my gun and hold the gun on me, I'm not going to do anything. So she said, I got into his truck and I got his gun and I held the gun on him while he talked about the problems he's having with his wife. And then we've been together ever since.
And then she killed him. But here's the craziest person out of all of this. Carol's latest husband.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, he's fucked up.
He might be the craziest of them all.
100%. He bought all into like that whole cult mentality or whatever. Like
he taking the Kool-Aid in the veins. Okay, he's not just drinking the Kool-Aid, straight in the veins.
Carol, Carol is like the modern day. Yeah. What's that? That movie. Was it not Us? The other Jordan Peele movie where the girl with the teacup. Yeah,
Get Out.
Carol King is the Get Out chick, but real, because she has everybody like hypnoptized.
Everybody.
I don't understand.
Pussy control. Like, just wept.
Corey couldn't even watch the whole. Like, Corey was like, you drill. He left after half an episode. He's like, I can't watch this shit. He's like, they're so fucking batshit crazy. And I'm like, I know, but that's what kind of makes it good. But then I couldn't even make it through the first episode. But then DeJuan's like, just watch more because it gets crazier. And I was like, I can't take it. But I was like, okay, I know we probably want to discuss it on here. I'll watch the rest of it. It was the craziest thing I've seen in my life. White people cannot talk about black people no more because y'all got some crazy fucked up people. Like, girl. Literally.
Girl.
I just,
the wildest thing I've ever seen.
On the surface, like if you watch like the first and even the second episode, on the surface, if you literally just watch like those two episodes, in my view, it's almost kind of not enough to warrant all of the, all the hype. But because I had heard so much about it, by the time I watched it, I had heard people say, you got to get to like episode 4 and 5. And by the time I got to episode 3 and you started hearing about like, the throuple and him, and then you started hearing about like, running for governor and then running for president. And then
how he get 19% of the vote. Oklahoma, y'all crazy out there.
handing out condoms, and he was like,
with his face on it.
Right, exactly. And I can forget what was that slogan. It was something like, if you fuck with me, you'll stay protected, or something like that. Something crazy like that.
Oh my God.
Yes.
No,
yes.
I can't.
You gotta
No,
watch the rest of
I
it. It's
can't.
so
I can't.
ridiculous.
You can't even
I
make
cannot
up the layers
sit
of
through
this.
that. That just
You can't even make up the layers of this show.
It's just
like,
insane.
it's too much.
Insane.
And then like I don't even want to give everything away. Like the scene where the campaign manager sees what happens live.
Oh my God.
I don't even want to give this part away.
Oh my God.
But I was like sitting there
How
like, what
in the world?
in the world?
Like, at first I didn't believe it.
Going on?
Because I was like, they're
No,
making you believe
that's not for
something,
me.
and they're not. It's just, and here's the
It's
thing:
too much.
they did such a really good job with this documentary because Adam and I watched it together, and we have totally different tastes in television, like totally different. So it's very rare that we find something that we both enjoy, and we both enjoyed it. But we were both like, at the end of each episode, we were just like, we can't tell like whose side they're on, because some
Right.
episodes they'll be like all on kind of like Carol's side. And you're like, okay,
Right.
yeah, I can see where she's at, and I can see how like maybe he's, abusing these animals and blah blah blah. And then like the next episode, you see like it's like now they're on Joe Exotic's side, and you're like, oh, now I feel bad for him. And it's like you never really know like whether or not they're on somebody's side or not. And
that's why I say lock them all up. They all crazy. They all need to be out of here. Lock their asses.
It is fucking insane.
But
it's good TV,
like,
though.
there's still people out there like them,
Right.
guaranteed. So
Right.
that's the scary thing.
Well,
Like,
I mean, and
this
think
is
about
crazy.
it. That's just one part of it. That's just like, I've never even heard of tiger zoos. I never even knew that existed. But like, I've heard of like alligator zoos. There's like a whole bunch of them
Yeah.
down there in Florida.
Yeah.
So I can only imagine what kind of crazy shit is going on down there.
And why does a tiger only cost like $2,000?
That was a little weird too.
I was like, I got $2,000.
That's
Like,
a
let me
little
go
weird.
buy a tiger.
And did
like,
you see
that's
what-
bizarre. When there's only
Jarrell.
4,000 left in the wild.
Jarrell, Shaq went over to Joe Exotic and bought a tiger from him on camera. He's like, ooh, I like this one. I'm going to take this one home.
You can literally
No.
almost
It's like-
use your stimulus check and go buy you a tiger.
Right.
No,
It's just bananas.
It was the
I know
craziest
everyone's
thing I've seen.
into it, but it's not for me. It's not for me. But you know what? That's okay. Everything
Different
ain't for
strokes.
everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
We
just
got
counting
some
those
dreams
out of
days
it.
because Insecure is about to be back here in a couple weeks.
Yes.
So I'm just waiting.
April 26th, 29th.
No,
Or
it's
the 12th.
It's the 12th. Yeah,
When
it's
is
like
it?
the week.
Yeah, so
yeah,
I guess this coming Sunday of this week's episode.
of this
Yeah.
episode.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
it's like
right.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ooh,
so
we-
a
should
bitch
we,
can't.
like-
Oh, that's
I'm about
awesome.
to binge it again.
So-
I'm about to start watching it again. Like I'm literally, my goals is to rewatch the last 3 seasons because I want to
Okay.
get Fiznik hooked on it because I know Fiznik will like it.
Ah.
So I'm gonna rewatch it with him,
Aw.
and then we're gonna watch it
Should we do a
together.
live tweet session or something?
For the first
Community.
episode?
Yeah, maybe community. Like I know a lot of you guys like it, so maybe we out there tweeting or Instagram storying or something to see what y'all thinking of the episode.
I think that's a good
Yeah, we
idea.
should do that. That would be a good idea.
And if you haven't seen the other seasons, you know how we are about Pose. That's how we are about Insecure.
So,
So y'all
Fact.
better stay current
If you
with
don't
these
watch it,
episodes
it's a
because
wrap.
we're gonna be talking about it.
hmm
So here's your
Yeah, 'cause
warning.
that's every single Sunday.
So that means you get a week. That means you get a week because
get
they
a
come
week.
out that Sunday and we
Yup.
record 4 days afterwards. So
Exactly.
you'll get a week from Sunday to Sunday. So
But after that, it's a wrap.
Mhm.
You get a buffer in between these episodes. Luckily.
Absolutely. So
But
y'all
you
better
better watch,
be
'cause
on
we're gonna
top
be
of
talking
it.
about
Be
it.
on top of it. But you know who also was on top of it though today? Whoopi, when she was talking to Bernie Sanders about why he's still in the race.
Girl, she had some
Girl.
point blank. She said, "So okay, because she tried to ask it nicely,
Right.
and he was like stuttering, and
Skirting
like,
the
she's like,
issue.
okay, then let me just ask it like this: Why haven't you dropped out the race?" I'm like, you better get him, Whoopi.
Wait, and he had the nerve to dance around it being like, well, the focus right now should be on should be on this stimulus package number 2 that I was working with the Senate on today, and we're gonna make sure that this goes. And she goes, wait, so if that's the most important thing, why isn't all your energy on that? Why are you splitting it between 2 things? And then he was like, well, I'm not campaigning in Wisconsin. She was like, but you're still in the race.
He goes, but I'm right here in my house. I'm not out campaigning.
Yeah, and she's like, but you're still in the race. Right. So why, like, and then, but this is the part though. She said at the beginning, she goes, so you said that you're not dropping out because you see that there's a path to win. So what is this path to win? I want to know what this path to win looks like.
And then she said, because last time when you didn't have a path to win, you kept staying in there with Hillary Clinton, and you didn't come out and say that you would support Hillary. And he's like, well, I don't agree with that characterization of the situation. And she's like, well, but it's a valid point. Like at this point, and this is not shitting on Bernie. We like Bernie, but at this point, I don't foresee the path for him getting the nomination. And his whole thing was like, it's a democracy. People should be able to vote for the candidate within the Democratic position. Okay, I get that in theory. However, that's not the situation, and you don't have enough states left really with enough delegates
to win to get the nomination. Yeah, like it's just like the numbers aren't there, and you want to argue. Your main argument is that everyone should be able to vote, but if the numbers aren't there, what is the point? Like at some point, you have to just admit defeat, and she's right. It's very, very, very much like Bernie in 2016, and it's like. You should have did a long time ago, but you wait until the very end, and by then it was too late, and everyone that follows you right off the fucking cliff, and they didn't climb back up. And you try to be like, oh, well, I told them to go this direction, but I stayed at the top of the cliff. No, bitch. Like, you should have been out.
I think the problem of it is that it goes beyond just like the democratic process. And what it does is that right now we need a united front. We need to be doing all the things that we can, to get as much people on board to the person that has the most support, which at this point is Biden. And there's no one else that's going to be coming in to kind of take that away. So rather than waiting to the very last minute and then hoping in the aftermath that people will then rally behind Bernie is the same exact thing that happened the last time. Exactly. So now you know well ahead of it to be able to make an informed decision so that, number one, you can stay in your house and focus on coronavirus. And then number two, the Democratic Party and those that are independents can rally behind the person who's going to get this fucktard out of the White House when it's time to make a difference, as opposed to staying in the race to the very last minute and dividing and conquering, the blue side of the house.
Because I already seen some of the Bernie bros saying, I'm not voting for Biden and this and that. And I'm like, oh, it's literally a replay of 2016.
It really is.
Here we go.
And if he doesn't get out now, especially because in a weird way, the coronavirus has shifted our attention a little bit from how crazy politics was getting there for a while. And it gives everyone a chance to kind of cool off that Bernie's not the candidate and things like that. That way, when it gets to late summer and things are really ramping up again, they had time to be like, okay, you know what? Bernie didn't win, but okay, I got to get out there and support Biden any way I can, whether it's knocking on doors or getting donations or whatever it is. Give the Democratic Party enough time to put all the attention and money behind Biden for the goal of getting old boy out the White House.
Right.
And that's the part where I just think his ego for Bernie is getting in the way still. It's just like, I get you want to be president. I get it. It hurts. It hurts. I know it hurts your heart. But the common goal right now is not Biden. It's to get old boy out the White House.
Right.
Put your ego down. There's not a path.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. So, yeah, I think he needs to drop out, honestly. The sooner, the better. That way we can really put our focus to where it needs to be.
Well, and, I think that's... And that would also just help with the focus of, okay, we know who the nominee is going to be. And then so now everyone is going to be really paying that much more attention to Trump as far as what he's doing throughout this.
Right.
And it's been such a shit show for him as far as how he handled all of this. And
but why is his rating so high still?
I honestly, I don't know. It's still the same. It's
crazy.
Which is crazy. But I think the reason why it's still so high is because so many people are only paying attention to the whole talk about the stimulus check. So that's why I really hope all this is done before the elections. And I say that because you're going to see how bad this shit's going to affect the economy post the pandemic. Yeah. And then you're going to see him really fuck it up even more because of how bad he's handled this.
Well, he's been hanging on to, and his base has been hanging on to the post Obama economic growth for so long, and attributing that to him, and that now that we've hit this point, we've even had, I forget what his title is, not the head of the Treasury, but one of the people that talks about like finances, then the government, whatever, I forget what it's called, but using actually the recession word. And that becomes really, really dangerous. So, and from a person who's in the White House right now, that becomes a nail in the coffin, because now you don't have the economy and the growth and all this other stuff to be touting like, oh, I'm good for the country because look what I've been able to do or whatever. No, it's a wrap, because now we're in this hole.
Yeah. And the smartest thing he's done, though, I will give him credit for this, is at least somewhat listening to Dr. Fauci. Because a lot of people on both sides of the aisle trust that doctor. And luckily for Trump, he hasn't let his ego get in the way of booting him out the way, honestly. He's let him kind of almost
give him a couple weeks
what we're doing.
But if you listen to him though, but if you listen to him individually talk though, not in a press conference,
absolutely,
he has not been anywhere near aligned up with what Dr. Fauci has said, like at all. So it's like you got this really, really well respected doctor like saying all this that has worked with different presidents, and pandemics, and what you're saying is completely different, and it's like, your words need to be aligned with this. All I know is I'm just hoping that this election, the 49% of Americans that did not vote, get out there and vote. Like, if we, like, I know the Bernie bros are not, they don't make up all that 49%.
Right.
If we can get at least half or all of the non-Bernie bros to at least get out there and vote, we will get him out. But we got to get them
trying to find ways to do the voting already. They're talking about potentially paper ballots for all the states. We'll see if that gets anywhere, because that takes forever to do in and of itself. But they're already saying there's probably going to be another second wave of this virus in the fall.
Yeah.
Like, we need to figure this shit out now. Like yesterday. How we're going to vote in November. Yeah. And if there's scare tactic, the scare tactics are going to come, especially for the poor communities, people that can afford to get sick and things like that. These tactics are coming. We're telling you now that they're coming. So don't come to us in October saying they're saying this. I told you back in March what they're going to try to do to scare you to stay your ass home. Yeah. We need to find ways. We need to, in our communities, if it's having to make masks, hoard sanitizer for our community, whatever it needs to be. That way we could get out and vote, because no one else is going to look out for our communities to make sure that we get out there and vote and to make sure that we're safe and sound. We need to start spearheading that now in March. That way, come November, even if we don't get paper ballots and we have to show up to the ballot box, the schools and libraries across the country, that at least we're as safe as possible within our communities, because no one else is going to look out for us.
Yeah. Oh, I'm depressed.
Sorry, we didn't want that to be a Debbie Downer, but it's just like, this is stuff we honestly need to think about now, because we can't let it be end of October, November, when it's time to vote, and you don't have a mask, you don't have gloves, you don't have hand sanitizer, you don't have the stuff that you can slowly but surely get. Yes, it's hard to find the stuff now, But come summer, when maybe the disease slows down a little bit or whatever, and it's kind of almost just out of sight, out of mind, and it starts to ramp up again in the fall that they're predicting, don't be caught with your pants down, as they say. We need to start thinking about this stuff now, how we could help our communities, our older people, how we could get them to the polls, how we could get babysitters for people that are working 2-3 jobs. How can we get everyone out to the polls in November to get old boy out the White House?
I'm still trying to figure out, why is it that we are so, like, you can file your taxes online. Why can't you vote online? Like, at the end of the day, like, that to me does not make any sense, that we have to fucking get out of our houses and go to a physical location. Like, we should have the ability to be able to, from our own homes, just like we can file our taxes, we should be able to.
Census.
Right. We should be able
to. Online.
We should be able to cast our vote from the comfort of our own home. Like, and all the jerry rigging and finagling with, with like party lines and jurisdictions and all of that becomes almost obsolete, because now you don't have an excuse, because it's right there within your own grasp. And yes, we could still have it optionally available for people who don't have smart devices or whatever to go and vote in person. But the fact that you don't have the option just to cast your vote online is ridiculous to me.
Especially how safe Apple says their phones are. Like, if your phones are that safe, you should be able to find a way to help us, at least with the technology side, to make voting safe. Like, get these companies out there, and they're not going to do it because they're not profiting from it. I get what it is. It's the coinage of the situation. But the ghetto, anyway.
I mean, look, if you can submit your taxes online, which includes all kinds of personal information about you, all the only thing that you would be doing is submitting something that's connected to like your name and saying, I select this person, like that has no personal information whatsoever. So the encryption, of course you would want to make sure that it's like, it's, protected from hackers and things like that. But again, if we can do that with our taxes, which has more sensitive information, it has all of your information essentially. Why can't we do it with our vote?
Just don't add voting to the long list of everything else that's been fucking canceled already this year. I just can't do it.
I can't
Olympics
do it.
being canceled will be postponed to 2021. Wimbledon being canceled.
Bitch,
like,
you know what else is canceled right now already? IML is canceled already. IML.
I mean,
for next year?
IML is for this year. IML is already canceled.
Wow.
A couple prides are already canceled.
Yeah, I was gonna say LA already canceled their pride. San Diego's in
Tampa Pride just got canceled last weekend.
It's real out here. Man. It's real out here. I hope they don't cancel voting like that. But
oh my god,
I just I feel. I've been trying not to get in my feels about all the sports being canceled and all the prides being canceled. Like, think about it. Like, our month is Pride Month, and Pride Month is basically going to be canceled, you guys. It's basically going to be canceled.
So we gotta think what we could do to make sure we at least uplift our community still. Like, community, help us think of some stuff. Like, obviously, even just bigger than Minority Report. What can we do as a community that now all these prides and everything are getting canceled, that we're still visible and still getting our messaging out there and still obviously having cocktails and things like that, but making sure that our community is still uplifted and visible? Give us some ideas. Let's spread it amongst the community and get this going.
Yeah, I feel bad for those, for all of the Olympic athletes, though. Like, this was the last year eligibility, and, because they're now too old, or...
I did see the NCAA is going to give spring seniors and athletes another year of eligibility.
Yes, and that's great. But I'm talking about like for the Olympians, though, that are just
that's crazy. The mindset alone,
like what you put your body through,
and all the opportunities that you turn down so that you can continue to train and work towards this as like the end goal.
So or
just like how that,
months.
or like, or like your endorsements that lead up to that, like all those endorsement deals that they probably would have gotten, right now leading up to the Olympics, all gone. The money they would have gotten, if performing this year to get them to 2021 gone, you know?
And now you're just chilling at the crib.
Yeah.
Like, so you're losing your endurance. You're losing skills. That's a lot. That's a lot. That damn Rona. Damn. Lord help us. But community, we forgot last week. There was one segment we forgot to finish up for you. So we're going to do it real quick today as well. Is we forgot to do our R&B male group champions. So for Jarrell and I, it was Boyz II Men versus Tony. And for Dewan, it was Guy versus Tony. And I don't know who my winner is.
All I know is now that we have gotten to the end of the road, there can only be one winner. And those winners are Boyz II Men. You know, so let the water run dry as you cry and listen to Boyz II Men for the rest of the day. But call your mama
seasons of loneliness.
if you get lonely. Call your mama if you get lonely.
Call your mama.
Why just plug like 3 or 4 songs and I
love it. I'm here for it. Who do you have, Dewan? Because I'm still debating in my head.
Guy versus Tony. I'm sticking with Tony's. Tony's. I just feel like their whole.
You feel like you messed up because you don't have the right people in the final? Is that what you're saying?
No.
No, I was just joking with you, Boo.
No.
I stick with my groups.
I feel like their collection of their body of work just is so timeless. And even though like Guy is more kind of like, you know, like upbeat and, you know, like, more vibey or whatever. I feel like, you know, in the most important times of your life, you know, like weddings and graduations and, you know, like birthday parties and whatnot, like that's what I hear. And that's what I want to hear. And I could put on any Tony album right now and just like, I know every single song. Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I feel like because that's me with Boyz II Men, like, and I kid y'all not, I probably listen to a Boyz II Men song like once a day, like, because I have like their albums in my music. So when I do shuffle, like it's one of the albums it just knows to play a song a day. So and that's how I feel about them. So I get that, Boo.
I'm struggling so hard.
Yeah, it feels good.
One of the first CDs I ever got was Boyz II Men, Cooley High Harmony.
Yeah.
And so I have like this weird sentimental attachment just because I got it for Christmas. Right. I remember it.
You opened up the wrapper. You pulled out the CD. You pulled open a little like booklet.
That's the blue CD, right?
No, it's they have Cooley High Harmony was one where they were in like almost like fur jackets.
Oh yeah,
in like Philadelphia. But then they came out with Cooley High Harmony, like the second one that they put End of the Road on because that was on like the Boomerang soundtrack.
Right, that's the one like that I remember. Getting.
Well, that's 2 you're thinking of. You're thinking of 2.
That's 2. That's the one that I remember at that moment.
But then right before 2, they reissued Cooley High Harmony and they had like red hats and like sweaters on. And then 2 is the blue album that you're thinking of.
Okay, yeah.
I think at 51% to 49%.
Come on, loophole. She got luck. Actually, no, wait. This ain't a loophole. She's making a choice, y'all. Community.
No, it's going to be a decision because 51% is bigger than 49%.
She's not saying on a weekday. Okay, she's not saying on a weekday it's gonna be this, and on a weekend it's gonna be this, or like in the fall is this.
I'm gonna give you a definite answer. I'm giving you a definite answer. So by just 2 percentage points, I think I am putting Boyz II Men ahead of Tony. I think I am. Even though it hurts my heart because I love me some Tony.
There's something to be said. There is something to be said about...
There's a slight more sentimental moment for Boyz II Men.
There's something to be said. And I think that's what drives a lot of like these decisions. Like when you think about like what music speaks to you the most, and a lot of it is built on sentimentality. It's about like what feelings get conjured up, what memories get conjured up for you that are attached to that. And, you know, it's less about like I would say largely it's less about the musicality of it, and it's more about the emotion that's attached to it.
Definitely. And community, we put these out there for you guys, and you guys were going back and forth with your favorites out there. Some of y'all were saying, oh, that's more 80s, or how can you say that Jodeci isn't better than Tony, or, you know, it was funny to hear it. But we're going to put some of your final choices out there as well. And then we might even just put our final choice to see what they say against Boyz II Men versus Tony as well, and see the arguments for that. But the R&B brackets are done. Boyz II Men for Jarrell and I, and Tony for DeJuan.
So either way, y'all was represented, community.
Definitely.
We're going to have to make up one for the women's side of the house.
Absolutely. We should. Yeah. We definitely should.
Yeah. Trying to think, are there enough women groups? Yeah, there's plenty. Oh, yeah. There is plenty.
You got like Brownstone and Jade and SWV and TLC and Destiny's Children. Escape, right?
Yeah.
3LW.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is going to be good. This is going to be good.
Right. No more.
Baby, I ain't doing it.
Right. You got 702. I mean,
where my girls at from the front to back, and then you feeling that? Put one hand up, and if you get that, hey.
Put your one hand up if you can speak that and just play yourself. Missy wrote that song.
Yes, she did.
Missy Elliott wrote that song. Yes. But I know we're at an hour 40, so we're trying to keep them low. But I know, Jarrell, you have one last question you said you wanted to ask us. So.
I do. So kind of like last week, I just been in my brain, you know, quarantine. You only got so much you can do, you know, so you start thinking about things, you know. And so it was funny because I was reading this article and it was saying that like the average American hasn't made like a new friend in 5 years.
Really?
Yeah, the average American has not made a friend in the last 5 years. So I guess I was just like, when's the last time you've made a friend?
This year.
I was about to say this year.
I made friends. I made a couple this year.
Okay, but here's my thing though. Okay, when you say, what is your definition of friend? Like, because to me, I'm old school. And I call a lot of these heifers associates, okay?
Right.
Because we converse and that's it. Right. So if I'm calling you a friend, that means I fucked with you, and that means I will spend my own bail money on you. And you may know a few.
Bail money.
You know a few of my secrets. But if you and then that's when I say if you family, then that means I'm going into battle, no questions asked. Like we in this together. Like where we hiding the body. You know what I'm saying?
Like I think I've moved so much over the last 5 years that in each new city, I've fortunately been able to find a group of guys that I'm like text groups and all that stuff. So. And there's even one, and I say this year because we're in April now, so 4 months in, 3.5 months in, there's another guy that's kind of gotten added to at least the Atlanta group. And it might still be more associate at this point, but he's made it into the group chat, and so he's getting to that friend part of it, if I could say. But luckily, literally, I got like my Chicago squad, I have my Dallas squad, I have my Atlanta squad and it's not like it's like 20 people in these squads. I would consider it definite friends. And then luckily I still have like my college buddies that I still talk to. I still have people I grew up with that I still talk to. So it's been cool throughout life. Like even like I said at the wedding, it was cool to see the worlds collide because I have like these friends that I still consider friends that I text on the daily and seeing those worlds collide. And luckily it's been in there. Like it's been cool to still at least have a friendship, even if it's from people I've been friends with since like kindergarten, or rather be literally 2020 that I've been able to slowly call you a friend and not an associate.
I think you hit the nail on the head because my whole kind of anchor in this was when you move, and a lot of people are very comfortable like in their own town. Like maybe they might move from a small town to like a bigger city and then they just stay there, you know? And I have moved around this United States quite a bit. I travel quite a lot. And, you know, like when I moved to New York, I already had friends that were here that I just wanted to re-cement and reinvest in those relationships. I remember when I first moved here, I made a conscious decision not to join any sports. Because, you know, as older gay men, that's kind of where, like, if you want to meet people platonically and you're already in a relationship and you're not looking to like hook up with people, whatever, you know, like you join sports. And that's a great way to make some really great friends on a very platonic basis or whatever, and not have to like cut through some of those murky waters. But I made a conscious decision not to do that because I already had several people that here, like my best friend and his partner, Milos and Ugo, literally live two blocks away. We spend like probably 3 to 4 days a week with each other. In fact, Milos was just over here, like using my printer earlier today because he's working from home too. But I will say that, you know, having moved to New York, I hadn't made like a lot of new New York friends up until like maybe the last 6 months. I've been like really connecting with people, and I won't say a lot, but like I've made some new friends that I feel like it's like we text all the time, and you know, like we hang out. Well, before the Rona hit, we would meet up for dinner and hang out and do all kinds of stuff. So, you know, I think our situation is a little bit different because we've moved within that last 5 months, or excuse me, 5 years. But
same here.
I think, you know, for folks who haven't, it's, you know, you get your crew and you just rock with your crew. And then you have like your ancillary people that are out there, but you know, you have your crew and that's it.
I mean, I've been in Seattle 2 years now, and they call it the Seattle freeze out here. And so basically what that is like people are just, they get the tunnel vision. They are about their friends and about what they're doing, and they don't care to associate or talk with other people or mingle or anything of the sort like that. So it like the whole first year was just Fizz and I. Like we would go out and then we'd be like, oh hey, and then people would be like, and kind of give you that over the shoulder look, like who are you, and just keep it pushing or whatever. Or we would do sports and people would be very cordial to us at sports, but then we would see them out and they would just walk by like we never existed. Mm-hmm. And so I totally get like most Americans not, you know, making new friends, you know, over the last 5 years, because one, with social media, like now everything is about via text. Mm-hmm. And honestly, to me personally, there's no substance there. Like, if we can't meet face to face and I get that vibe that I can rock with you, I don't care how many times. And actually, I think Dewan, like you are probably like my one exception of this, like my one for sure exception of the last 5 years, like someone that I felt that I knew solely just because we didn't meet for the first time until Memorial Day last year, but I felt like I knew you. Mm-hmm. But again, we both were taking that time to comment and text each other and message, etc., like that. But a lot of people aren't checking that and doing that. It's just about what I need right now, and that's it. And they just go to the next thing, you know? And
it's definitely harder the older you get. Because, like you say, people already have their squads. A lot of times people end up getting like families, jobs take over. Like life just gets so much busier the older you get, it seems. That's harder to invest the time to form new relationships. And you kind of almost rely on those older ones because you don't have to go through that build up. You know, that build up part of it where you got to explain why you didn't return the phone call or explain why you didn't do the text or you know, sometimes like older friends that you had for a while, they just get it, you know,
They understand I think people also forget that friendships are work too. You know, like they're not the same amount of work. They're not the same amount of work as a relationship.
But they're up there.
They are work on its own. Yeah, they're up there. They're up there, you know? And I think that's something that scares a lot of people about wanting to have friendships, is the work that goes behind it to have a friendship. Absolutely. And that's why I don't call people friends unless both of us, the mutual parties, are putting in that work to say that we had a friendship. But if I'm trying to be cool with you and you ain't putting that work in, nope, fuck it, ain't done. You're an associate. Period. Right. We ain't bouncing back for that unless I see you start doing it, because you have to invest and you kind of have to care in order to really be friends, as far as I'm concerned.
So
like, if you don't care about that person, it's not a friendship.
So what about like social media? Like any relationships that have formed through social media. So whether it's be through Facebook or Instagram or, like Twitter, have you ever had like a relationship that you would consider that person, even if you haven't physically met them?
That's you. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, and I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's you. Like, that you are that person for me, because again, like, the fact being, like, we had never met, but you would tag me in a comment and I'm like, damn, bitch, that's point on. Like, you know me so well. Like, boo, boo. And we had never met. And the only way we knew each other was by commenting on Corell's post alone. You know what I'm saying? And
because, Corell is a kitchen table. Friends. She brings everybody together.
Right. Exactly. But us doing that to each other show that we were caring and thinking about the other person. I think you can create those friendships through social media, but it goes back to doing the work. If you're not doing the work to make that happen, I can't call you a friend. You're just an associate. You're just someone who knows my name and I know your name, and that's it. If you don't know nothing about me, I can't call you a friend, especially if I don't know anything about you.
I feel that.
No, it's definitely the foundation is work. So let's post that to the community too. We'll put that as a story or a poll just to say, have you made someone that you consider a friend in the latest 5 years?
Right. And let me say this. I have to say this real quick. The QPOC group out here in Seattle that we do our monthly brunches with, okay? Those my bitches out here. They have helped me feel like home out here, and I will call them my friends.
Yes.
But before I had y'all hoes, ain't nobody out here was checking to be friends. Look, it was hella rough. It was hella rough. But I got some friends out here now that I consider. But
how many of us have them?
Friends.
The ones you can depend on.
Right.
Friends.
Oh, well, community, we gave you an extended episode today because we know you locked up in the house. Locked up, they won't let me out.
Hey.
They won't let me. We're Styles and Akon. But hopefully you guys are staying safe. Continue to wash your hands.
The governor or mayor of some country, or like...
He's doing the damn thing in Africa. Like,
he's doing his damn thing in Africa.
Building communities in Africa.
Yeah. Come on, Akon.
That's dope, right?
Yes.
But yeah, continue to wash your hands, your legs, your ass.
Oh, and as a reminder, next week's episode is our 1 year
episode.
12 whole months. Episode 62, baby. So
that's crazy.
First and foremost, thank you.
Or 61.
Is it 61?
Right? 61. Yeah, 61.
Yeah.
So thank you to everybody out there who have provided us with your superlatives, and all of like your suggestions and questions for us. We're promising we're going to make that just a fun episode.
It's just going to be a jam-packed episode.
Really is.
I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry. I already know I'm going to cry. I'm going to be out in my feels. For real. Because, man, y'all just don't know. Community, like... I know y'all hear us every Monday, but y'all just, this is my saving grace. Like, when I say a blessing, whoop, you know what?
Don't get me tearing
You know
what?
Girl. Here we go. We trying to get out of here. It's like church. We're trying to get out of here. And look, the word is coming.
And we're going to pray for Sister Alice, who is homebound right now. She can't get out of the house.
Community, have a great week.
Yes, we love you guys.
We'll see you next week.
Love y'all. Stay tuned,
Stay safe, stay healthy.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.